Hello everybody and welcome on today's video. Today I would like to have a look at this very first fusion project that I started a few years ago. It's a field maple fusion, and what I want to do today is look which trees I have to replace, and therefore of course I have a few spares, air layers. So first thing to do is get this out of the pot and see what's dead and what's alive. It's been 2 years I think since I repotted this tree, because I wanted it to grow well, and it did grow quite well, except for the fact that we had a really difficult growing season last year. It's been very dry in June, and hot, and so, well, the growing season wasn't exactly a good one, which is very sad because I feel that I lost a whole year. Things did not go well last year, but okay. Maybe I should try to find a solution to get my trees very wet in difficult periods like that. So I'm going to loosen this and these are already roots. I'm going to loosen this, get this tree out of the pot, and then clean it up. So now I'm going to remove the soil. There is nothing else I can do if I want to have a look at what's alive and what's not. I'm looking at the root mat under, and well, it's obvious that the tree grew well in 2 years' time. So probably we have a good strong base here. But still, the problem with fusion trees is that there's always one or two dying, and you have to replace them. Now, one thing that's for sure is that all these long roots here will never be used in the final design. So I'm going to cut them off really soon, because there's no need to spread this in a radial pattern, because, well, we're gonna cut them off anyway, so just a waste of time. So I'll do that for starters. All this is absolutely... Oh, this is a piece of wire. This is useless. And once this is cut away, it's going to make everything a whole lot easier. So I have a better view now on what's going on. It's still not okay, of course, but it's quite obvious that some trees are doing quite well and others are doing absolutely not well and are as dead as a dodo, and these of course will need replacement. So in order not to have the whole thing falling apart, I'm going to cut loose the raffia here at the bottom, and just untangle this. Okay, now I have to find out what is dead and what's alive. Well, it's not that difficult. If it's dead, it's rotting. So, and in doubt, I just have to scrape. This is nice and green, so this is good. I think this one's dead. Okay, so, well, it's obvious. If you can get it off like that, it's dead. I need to clean this away. Is this dead? Yes. So you see, fusion bonsai is not instant bonsai. It takes years to fill all these gaps, and then everything that is dead should be removed and replaced. That's the tricky bit. You have to have quite a lot of spares. So this is alive, this is good, I think this is good. I'm not sure about this one, I think this one is dead. This is good, I think this is dead, yeah. I also noticed that it's absolutely no use of transplanting these trees every year, because you have to give them a chance to grow, and if you get them out of the pot too often, well, you're going to weaken them. They won't stand a chance, and if you wait, it's better, because everything that's dead will fall out, and it's going to be very clear what you have to replace and what you don't have to replace. So I think this is 4 that died now. Last time, well, there was a whole lot more dead, of course. So by not untangling the upper parts, these things are not falling apart now, and I'm combing out the roots as I progress. I think I'm there now. Well, that's not too bad. Try to. This is still flexible, so that's okay. I'll try to find a few spares. So these are spares, these air layers. Been growing for a year or two now. No, 1 year, yeah. So I think they're, well, quite healthy. I'm breaking this up, not tearing it, because might need every root on this. Okay. Yeah, this is very good. This is excellent. Same here, one nice outgoing root. This is okay, it's gonna go every direction is possible here. Same for this one. This is kinda weak, but it will do. And this one is excellent. Yep. So I'm going to clean this up, give these a little wash, and I'll be back in a second. We're now entering the most crazy phase of fusion trees, and that's, well, putting the trees where you want them. And this is always the moment when you realize that you should be an octopus. So yeah, well, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just a problematic putting all the trees where you need them process. But every year it gets easier. And you put in one tree, and then you put in another, and then you realize that this one is not good because the shape is not appropriate. So you take another one, and there's really not a whole lot you can do to make this easier. So this is not bad. So the more trees you can add, of course, the better it is. And we are looking for the holes, and the gaps. So here, of course, I'm going to need at least a few trees. So maybe this one and this one here. Yeah, and this one and that one here. I think I almost closed the gap now. I have a look. Yeah. Well, if they all make it, I might be done with this. Okay, so let's tie this together. So to start, I'm going to put them just together at the base with one good twist around the base of these trees. Then I'll try to rearrange them if they move. And once that is done, I'll try to work my way up and see what I can do. I'm going to do this a little different. Wind this a few times around, like so, and then it does not bounce back that easy. Okay, that's better. So now, trying to arrange them nicely, and it takes time, so take your time. Here there's a little branch here. I'm going to get it over here and then push this one behind it, and so on and so on. Now this is absolutely not boring when you're trying to do that, but I can imagine that it's boring if you have to look at it. So I'm going to work my way around, and I'll be back in a few seconds. So I realized that while I was incorporating the trees, I had to remove the upper raffia, and so this is a big surprise, because I'm going to see now if there is fusion, and of course I will have to get rid of some of the dead material. But this is well, rather enjoyable, because now I can see where it worked and where it still did not work. So I'm untangling this whole thing. I feel it's going to be a lot easier if I just cut it away. So that's what I'm gonna do. Oh, this is clearly dead parts. And I think that this is the trunk where it started with, and well, this whole trunk is of course rotting now. So this is really not helpful. But I think I still can use it as a guide. But this is my really my first fusion project, and well, I now use foam trunks because, well, they don't rot. You see, this whole base is completely rot, so maybe I just see up to what point I can get rid of it and just not use it, and try and tie everything that's alive here together. Is this alive? Is this dead? No, this is still flexible, so that's alive. So I'm just going to put these things together as good as I can. But here I think at the upper parts the fusion is starting, and that's of course good news. So yeah, these trunks are fused together. I'm trying to zoom in at this point. Yep. So there is clearly fusion here, and probably at the upper part too. So it's going to be a question of always keeping an eye on the base and adding some more trees to make the base wider and thicker, and tie them together. So probably here is a whole lot of fusion too at the very top of the tree. And yes, I have quite some fusion here at the side, so that's nice. And probably at the top it's the same. So this is really good. So it means that in the end it works. Now, after all these years of trying to fuse these trees, I have some thoughts about fusion. It's definitely something nice to do because, well, it keeps you busy. You learn what you can do with trees, what you cannot do. But if you really want to have some results with fusion trees, well, you need to take to realize big projects. I mean, you won't. It's no use to take a few little trees and make a small fusion project with it, because it's not going to be worth all the trouble you're going through. So this is, well, this is okay, but it's still a little tree. By the way, we have fusion here, so it works, it really works. But another thing I'm going to do this year, I'm not going to plant this tree in a pot. I have really big containers where I'm going to put this tree in. I'm going to get rid of some bad and defectuous thick roots, also like this one. So this is something I want to do before I put it in something that you might call quite full ground. So the really big long roots, I'm going to get rid of them. And I must say I'm a little bored with this project because it's not going fast enough, I think. So the best thing to do then is use full ground or big containers if you can. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Going to add a little more raffia at the base and then plant it in full ground. So this is the big pot where I planted the tree in. As you can see, it's really huge. So the tree will be happy in there and will grow fast and will grow strong, and then yeah, then I'll see in a few years maybe. So we started with a pot with a tree and we end with a pot with no tree. And sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to be brave and you have to say, well, it's not working as it should, so I have to do something completely different. Last thoughts about fusion trees. If you really want to do fusion trees, well, it's not worth it doing it with small trunks like the one that you saw. It's a little too small. You really have to do that when you want a big chunky huge trunk. Then it's worth it, because, well, it takes the same amount of time to build a big tree than to build a small fusion tree, almost. So the reason why I did this tree today and why I will continue doing it, because it's my really first fusion project. So yeah, well, I want to see it end one day and become a nice tree. So in the meantime, thank you for watching and see you next time.